Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for this opportunity. Okay, so the slides are there, that's good. This is a 4-minute commercial on the SDG Advisor. This is, as you can see on the title, this is a new initiative within the ICT for SIDS partnership, and the keywords are listed there. This is an approach. We think it's an innovative approach. I'm sure other people will have their own opinions after I'm done with this. And the focus is very heavily on accelerating the SDG implementations. We all have heard a great deal about SDG implementations, but some of the answers are 3 to 4 years type time frame. So what can be done? How can be technology used in some innovative fashions to really accelerate these implementations? So that's the focus. Okay, so in this slide, I'm just giving you just a quick overview of the global center of the ICT for SIDS partnership. There are about 8 capabilities shown here. These capabilities are the ones that are actually visible to the end users, and you can see that they range from collaboration scenarios to healthcare centers, education centers, and so on and so forth. We are adding maybe 2 or 3 more in the next about a month's time period. So all of these capabilities are very tightly integrated with each other, and they can be invoked very easily based on the type of scenarios we have. And I'm going to give more details about the capabilities here in my presentation tomorrow. So right now, I want to focus only on one tool set, that is the new tool set that we have developed, and that's the SDG Advisor. The SDG Advisor, as you can see, it has basically 3 steps, and the purpose of these steps is to answer 3 most frequently asked questions about SDGs that at least I am aware of and I also heard in this conference. One question is about the status of the SDG indicators for a particular country. So many people have this question that what exactly is the status of my region, my country, for the various SDG indicators? First of all, also a question about what exactly are the SDG indicators for these kind of goals. And then not only that, having an understanding of what really are the type of services that are needed to improve the status. So it's a totally different thing to know that you're below this target, but then it's a totally different activity to figure out what exactly do you do to go above that and improve your status. So this particular step of the advisor actually makes recommendations about the type of services that can be used to improve the status. And as I'll show you in a minute, these services are based on some of the latest research in the areas of the technologies and things of that nature. So I'll talk about that later on. The last part is probably the most important part, and that is that, okay, so you have said that here is the status, number 1. Number 2, we know that there are these 4 to 5 services that can be deployed, and what really happens when I want to actually implement them? What's the best way to implement them? And there are many implementation choices. So this tool that is only 2 months old right now, and we are practicing it. I mean, it's not really ready for prime time yet, but we already have about 11 countries using it. So it's turning out to be much more useful tool than I also thought initially. So this is the main step. The second step is the main step, and I just wanted to show you the actual screen. I ran this screenshot. Actually, I took this screenshot yesterday. So this is for Jamaica. So the first step, I just chose Jamaica as a country. And the second step here, as you can see, that I've chosen a goal number 3, and you can see here that it shows you, unfortunately, it's a very busy diagram, but on the other hand, there's a tremendous amount of information here. It shows you the different names of the indicators for goal 3. It also shows the latest data for Jamaica for this particular goal, for these particular indicators, and it also shows the status being red, green, or yellow, or whatever happens to be the case. So it gives all that information, and it takes virtually less than 2 minutes or 1 minute to do this, to get to this stage. The next part, which is really a fascinating area of work for us, is actually making the recommendations. And you see, first of all, 2 lines there. The first says case studies done by Cisco. The second is about Ericsson. And we have a large repository of the other case studies and examples. And there have been also questions that there's too much knowledge, there's too much information, there's a need to consolidate. So this is our kind of a humble and simple-minded attempt at consolidating multiple sources of information for that particular goal, for that particular country. So if, for example, that goal is not important, or if that particular indicator, you are in good shape, so the information is not shown. And we are going to keep on adding this. As I said, this is just 2 months worth of work from one person who's a PhD candidate, a very, very, very good, sharp guy. So that's about it. But however, I want to show you the other parts of it. So besides recommending the services, you can actually play a cost-benefit analysis game. And I want to clarify my earlier comment about this particular game. This does not get into the detailed accounting financials. This is basically a low and medium and high type of cost versus the impact being low, medium, and high in terms of not only just the financials, but also about the value to the islands and the users. So this game, the users can play. So once you know that here are the kind of services, and this game you can play for a particular service for your own country, and you can move some numbers around to get an idea. So instead of just guessing it, that is this going to be worth our time and effort, you can play this game. It takes about 15 minutes to actually play these games. Then is the next part, that let's say that you have gone through this stage and you say, this seems like it's a relatively low cost, and the impact is very high. For example, telemedicine centers for hypertension have shown to be very effective in many areas of health, and you can see here they're also shown here, because they can be done very cheaply. We have found like less than $1,000 it costs to actually build a telemedicine center or actually hub in many places especially for hypertension, and that gives you that information. But let's say that you actually want to implement it. So then the next step is to actually explore and implement, and this is the place where the tool takes you next to, it actually walks you through a complete computer-aided planner, which is a fairly sophisticated artificial intelligence-based engine, but users don't know about it. All the complexities hidden underneath it. So it takes about 20 minutes of very simple interview, asking 3 to 4 questions, and based on those questions, it produces this output that is focused on the type of capabilities you would need to have in order to implement it. So this is an implementation tool, and you can see the kind of outputs they're produced for this particular, for every service, for every country, the output is specialized so that you can see how will this implementation work for my country. and it produces strategic plan, requirement documents. It also produces a funding proposal that are possible, an RFP if that's needed. It also produces an actual working portal that can be implemented within about 10 minutes after this experiment is done. Also, administrative governance guidelines and security and controls and audit practices, project management. So there's a tremendous amount of information this tool produces in about 20 to 25 minutes time period. And so let me show, so what really happens next is the following. So you can see this is the final result. For example, this is in case of Jamaica that I ran. The experiment, it took me about 45 minutes to go through the entire process. And at the end of it, it actually produces an actual operational portal that was designed for Jamaica with all the capabilities built into it. So that's why it is an important tool, and the people who have used it, I have been very surprised, well, not really very surprised, but surprised by their reaction. So just to conclude it, I'll just give you one example that I was having a Skype chat with one of the countries where they were describing a particular service they had. The question by SDG indicators was, I was talking to them, there was a team member, the kid who actually is developing this, he was listening to the conversation, so while we were talking, he didn't tell me that, so he was playing with this tool, but by the time we were done with the conversation, he already had the solution within 45 minutes, and we were able to ship it. So it cuts down the amount of time from 2 to 3 months to about a day at the most. The amount of effort needed, cost needed tremendously. As I said, this is a very new tool. We don't know all the implications of it, but I just wanted to share that very quickly, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity to share that with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for presenting the SDG Advisor tool set talk. It's very interesting, very impressive, providing country-specific info and opportunities for playing so that you will get SDGs, country-specific solution for you. We also look forward to your presentation tomorrow that has even more information.